Okay, guys, you're getting me in my NASA shirt right now. Oh my goodness. All right, so it's been a minute since I've posted anything. And I have to be honest with you, it's because I've been in my head, which is a, a dangerous place a lot of times. Should have caution tape around it, on some days. So the reason I'm posting right now is because I told myself, listen, you don't have to have the perfect setup. You don't just it's been a while, so just get on and speak from your heart. So that's what I'm doing. I have, for some of you guys know, I have a personal coach. She's amazing. Her name is Alona. And, she's a coach for a lot of things. Part of it is, business, things like this. And I kept saying, I need to get this certificate, or maybe I should do this a little more, and I should do that a little more. And, trying to get that perfectionism, not realizing that that is what I was doing. And she shared the most amazing story with me. And through that story, I really resonated with it because a lot of times for me, and I think for a lot of us, which is why I'm posting this, because I believe that the collective, a lot of times goes through very similar things at the same time. So through this story, it really opened my eyes to just do it. Just do it. Start. You're going to learn through doing. We can get 25 different certificates. We can go to 30 different things. We can read 100 books, whatever it is. And sometimes we just have to make a move. Now, I was doing, some YouTube videos before, and it was, I thought it's fun. Who knows if anybody's actually watching them, but it was momentum, it was action. And so anyway, I did my coaching last Thursday, and I reached out to, actually, a family member of mine reached out to me and mentioned, like, oh, I haven't seen you post in a while. And I thought, oh my gosh, like, she noticed, which means that she might have enjoyed listening to them, So we went back and forth a little bit, and it gave me the motivation, So before I decided to do this video right now, the one that I'm doing, I picked some cards, and this is why I'm sharing it, because I have this really, really cool deck. It is Divine Masters, right, from Kyle Gray. Super cool. And I pulled several cards, which, they were completely in line with what's going on with me right now. But there's this one, Commander Ashtar. Check. I guess it's a guy. Long, beautiful blonde hair. But Commander Ashtar. You're not going to believe what this one says. It says leadership activation. Time to evolve. Trust in your ability to guide others. So then sorry, where's the book? Oh, here it is. Sorry. Okay, I got these new readers too, so hold on. I'm not so sure. They're super cute. They look, I don't know. They're like a little dramatic. Okay, so check this out. This is the message. Ashtar and the Ashtar Command are here to bring you the message that you have the ability to help others heal and evolve. The challenges you are surmounting are opportunities to lead by example. So this is what I'm talking about. Like, I have to actually do it. If I'm going to come on YouTube and I'm going to, share my experience, strength, and hope, I like actually have to do that. So here we go. Living honestly and sharing your truth have always been important to you. Now you are being given the opportunity to live your truth in view of the world. In view of the world. Like, you can't get more world than YouTube, in my opinion. Okay, don't be afraid to take the lead. To evolve into your leadership role, you have to assume your position in the world. Your ego, okay, this is really what got me. Your ego may be loud at this time and may try to keep you small. Don't fight it. Just prove to yourself and others that you have what it takes to silence this voice of limitation. Silence this voice. Like, this is amazing. You were born to lead, so lead. So I share this with you because I think I mentioned in the beginning, I've just really, 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 really been in my head lately. And when that happens, what I've learned is that there are some, what they call, like, this is like a term that's going around right now, some shadow aspects. So to me, shadow work is when something comes up that you feel like it could come up in fear, it could come up in irritation, annoyance. What happened was, because we're in the year 9, so 2025, if you add up the numbers, it adds up to 9. And 9 is a number of completion. So what's happening, and also we're in the year of the snake, which is kind of like dragon energy too, which I've always thought. And then I heard this Erin, this gal on YouTube, her name is Erin. Anyway, I'll get it to you. Anyway, she was talking about this too. So the year 9 is a completion. So that means what we want to do, or what some of us are being asked to do, is these shadow things that are coming up, which are the uncomfortable parts of our personality, maybe some buried beliefs that we've been carrying around our entire life and just don't know it, that trigger us, right? They come up because they've been in the shadow. They need light. They need light to to shine on them, not stuffed back down. So through this coaching, what I've been learning is that when these things come up, not to judge it, but to explore it. And that doesn't mean stay stuck in the story. It just means trying to nail down when the first time I felt this emotion come up, and then identify the belief around it, and then realize that that belief probably is not true. And then you go through, and so there's this process, right? And what happens is when light is brought up to a shadow aspect or an old belief, then we can release it. So in a year 9, what we people who are, going through an awakening or ascending or wanting to increase their frequency higher into, all of that stuff. It's like all the same thing, but there's so many different terms that describe the same thing. So when the shadow aspects come up and light is brought on them, and we deal with it and we see it for what it truly is. Like, I had a shadow aspect that came up that happened when I was 7. So what happens is that when this familiar feeling comes up in my today life, unbeknownst to me, the 7-year-old comes right up and decides she's going to take the lead. And so now I've got a 7-year old making my decisions, deciding how I'm going to feel, and all she's doing is trying to keep me safe, right? But I'm not 7, so uh, I'm an adult. I've lived many decades, let's just say that, and so now what I can do is I've brought light to that shadow aspect, and it's not leading my life today. And so in this year 9, like I've been loaded with these things that have been coming up. And then it's like, bring light to that. What's that old belief? Because we're entering 2026, which if you add those numbers up, then it's 10, which is actually a 1, and 1 is new beginnings. So what we don't want to bring into a year of new beginnings is a bunch of old crap, right? And there's no shame attached to any of that. But it takes so much courage really to look and to be aware and to say, wow, like, I didn't really like how I behaved when this situation came up, and again, not putting a bunch of shame around it, but just acknowledging it, not judging it, and learning from it. So I really wanted to share that with you guys because we're all going through the end of 2025 together. I mean, today is December 13th. So yesterday was the 12/12 portal. I'll tell you what, I've had a few pretty rough days. And, nothing to where I'm super dramatic, but there have been aspects that have been apparently buried within me that have been really wanting to surface, and I allowed them to. And again, that takes a lot of courage, and that takes, what else it takes from me? I can only speak for myself. Is it takes a desire to really sort of empty out as much of the old habits, behaviors, beliefs that don't work for me anymore, and make space, right, for the light, for the new to come in. And I share that because I think we all kind of want to do that, don't we? Whether we realize it or not. Honestly, for me, if I don't continue to grow, then I start to die and I wither away. And I don't want to do that. There can be a time of, if you think of a garden, right? You don't keep all the weeds in the garden, do you? No, you toil the soil. You toil the soil? I don't know. You get your rake out and you rake it up and you pull out the weeds. You pull out the stuff that is no longer serving you, so that when you plant those fresh seeds, right? And then you want to tend to that and water it with different things and give it sunlight so that it can grow. And it's not an instantaneous thing. You don't sit stare at a seed and scream at it and say, "Why aren't you a flower yet?" No, we don't do that. So we can't really do that to ourselves. So I really feel like these last few months have been sort of like a gardening of sorts, where I'm pulling out those stringy things that you see in a garden that are just kind of like, this doesn't even go anywhere. And you just kind of start fresh. And then the watering and the sunlight could be, I don't know, my meditations in the morning. A lot of you know that I love Joe Dispenza's the way, his meditations are and everything. And I've really been doing, and you know what, I didn't do it this morning, but he has a morning meditation, and I believe it's like 34 minutes. And in the beginning of it, you list all of the things that you no longer want to think. So like every day it's different, right? Whatever's popping up. And then you sit in that and you really acknowledge the thoughts that you've had that you no longer want to have. And then the second half is replacing those thoughts with thoughts that you really do want to have, like the limitless thoughts and the realizing that everything's okay. We're just all doing the best we can, right? And, then sitting in those new thoughts and then really sort of marinating. The ending is really great because then you're sort of marinating on that, all the new thoughts that you really want to bring in. And by the time that meditation is over, I literally feel like I'm a different person. And, that's part of taking care of my garden and, growing those beautiful flowers and the newness and the new beginnings and things like that. And I hope that really does make some sense to some of you out there. I just want to send my love. And I'm looking at this jacket. It looks like I don't know. I don't know. It just looks like a word that I can't really say on YouTube right now. But anyway, I'm comfortable. On my my couch. I'm so comfy. I put this picture behind me because I just love it so much. She's made of, her dress is made of flowers, and I didn't even realize that. And then my, what I was sharing kind of went that way. But I just really want to express my love for you and acknowledge that, sometimes in our mind we feel like we're all alone, and we're really not. We're really not. So I want you to know that I'm sending love from my heart to your heart at the last month. Like, it's December, you guys, of 2025. Is that like the trippiest thing? I'm tripping out a little bit on that, but we are going into a new year. It's coming upon us very, very quickly. But if you have the opportunity to stop and pause, like if you need help, then ask for help. When these things pop up, deal with them so that we can release it and not bring it into the new year, So anyway, I hope this video, if it resonates with you, great. If it doesn't, great. That's fine too. I appreciate you even pushing play and saying hi. So anyway, I love you. Happy mid-December. Maybe I'll start doing these videos again, and my setup will be a lot better, I think. But I thought, Leanne, if you don't get on and do this video right now, you're just going to put it off again. So this is how you got me in my jams with my new readers and my NASA shirt in honor of my dad. All right. Take care.